We're now going to discuss connection licensing, and this is how non-EDI accounts are charged by Dell Boomi. The two main connector classifications are test and production. Everyone has production access. However, you must have test connection management enabled to have test connectors. Environments are classified as either test or production. This is a user-defined classification. However, certain atoms, such as the Dell Boomi Atom Cloud, may only work in a production environment. Whether a deployed connection counts as test or production depends on the deployed environment. There is no difference in the connection component itself. A process deployed to a production environment counts as a production connection. The same process deployed to a test environment counts as a test connection. When using a test connection in a test environment, you do not receive email alerts about the deployed process executions or its atom status. You do, however, receive RSS feeds and can use the event object in the API to query notifications. I want to discuss the purpose of test connectors. Having a separate test environment allows you to conduct end-to-end functional process testing without the test mode restrictions. When pending atom and connection updates become available during the release control period, they are also available to the Dell Boomi Test Atom Cloud, so you can use the Test Atom Cloud to test your processes before the release. Test connection licenses in the Test Atom Cloud should be used for functional testing of processes only and not used for performance testing. The response times on the Test Atom Cloud are not a good representation of how your processes will run on the production Atom Cloud. Now, as I mentioned in the previous slide, there are two connector classifications, standard and test. Within the two classifications, there are four major connector types. They are small business, trading partner, enterprise, and standard. Let's examine small business first. There are three small business connectors: Sage 50, which is Peachtree, QuickBooks, and FreshBooks. Trading partner is specific to EDI development. There are two enterprise connectors: the Oracle e-Business Suite and the SAP Business Suite and NetWeaver. Everything else is standard. For anyone who's interested in seeing the ever-changing connector list, please take a look at boomi.com, integration, and then popular applications supported. Connection licensing is important because it controls how many different connections are deployed within your AtomSphere account. An audit is performed during deployment to ensure the allowed connection number, meaning the purchase connection license number for your AtomSphere subscription. Even though the connection library allows you to build and test integrations via test mode, an audit is performed upon deployment and the results are displayed in the licensing view. To access licensing, you'll go to Setup and Licensing. This displays the connector deployments across all processes, atoms, and limits the process deployments per account. In the event that 0 licenses are available to your account, a simple pop-up displays an error message indicating that your deployment was rejected. The process can still run in the Build tab, but remember the document process size of 10 meg, limitations of 100, but we're focusing on the production environment, so the limitation is the license number. So let's review a deployment scenario to show how to calculate connection licenses. A process has an FTP and a disconnector. An AtomSphere user decides to deploy the process to two different atoms, perhaps the Atom Cloud and a local atom for load balancing. This means there are two unique connections in the process, one for FTP and one for disk. Licenses are applied per unique deployed atom, in this case 2, meaning that the total integration was deployed on 2 Atom servers. So how many licenses would we use? Well, that would be using simple multiplication. It would be 4 connection licenses. So if we deploy our process to one atom, we would only use 2 licenses because we would go 2 times 1 equals 2. As mentioned in the Boomi Essentials class, there are 5 different AtomSphere editions, which increase in both cost and features. Our editions are Base, Professional, Pro Plus, Enterprise, and Enterprise Plus, and each comes with connectors, and all but Base provides the ability to buy more connectors if needed. When you purchase Base, you get 2 standard connectors and that's it. When you purchase Professional, you get 5 standard and 5 test connectors. However, you have the ability to purchase Enterprise and Enterprise test connections. When you purchase Pro Plus, you'll get 7 with the ability to purchase of each standard and test, with the ability to purchase Enterprise and Enterprise test connections. Enterprise, you will get 10 standard and 20 test connections. You will also get 1 Enterprise connection and 2 test Enterprise connections. Enterprise Plus will give you 15 standard, 30 standard test connections, 2 Enterprise connections, as well as 4 Enterprise test connections. Now, to prevent running out of licenses when trying to deploy your new process in your account, you should avoid using duplicate components in a single process. Even though they may contain the same login, they're still going to eat up your license count. Create a connections folder to house common integration components. Reuse components throughout all of your integration projects. And finally, work with your Dell Boomi account or partner manager to create a license count which works best for your company. So now you understand how our connection licensing works. We'll be moving on to folder permissions next.